Hi, I'm James, a photographer and online media personality in Atlanta, Georgia. This show is my way of sharing some of my favorite home cooking tips to eating restaurant quality meals on a tight budget through recipes I've learned in my travels and also my West African and Southern American roots. This is The Counter. Good morning, my name is James K. Holder II. Some of you may know me as Sir James II. I'd like to welcome you back to The Counter. Today we are continuing with our money-saving morning routine series where we're going to be making an ahi poke bowl with one of my favorite ingredients, ahi tuna. We're also going to use the avocado from that bowl with a soft-boiled egg to create a fast, affordable, and easy, high-protein breakfast dish. So without further ado, we're going to get started with the rice for our dish. So I started this morning by turning on a pot of water and also an egg. So I have an ice bath here ready, and all I'm going to do is resume this boiling water right on top of the stove. I'm going to add in my jasmine rice for this dish while the water's still boiling. And you know, making rice so quickly is a challenge, but one way to do it is to make sure that you're using a very small pot. So what we're gonna do here is just start getting our rice to clean off a little bit. Now that it's back to a boil and cleaned off, I'm gonna take my kettle, one more quick rinse, pour that right down, and we're going to bring this back up with enough water to cook this dish. Now, so there's a little bit of water above the rice in there. I'm gonna put this right back on our stove and start on our tea. So instead of coffee this morning, I'm gonna make some tea. That'll be ready for me to enjoy in just about 2 minutes. Give our rice a quick stir while it's up to a rapid boil. And I'm going to reduce the heat down to a 3 while we prepare our other ingredients. In about 7 or 8 minutes, that rice should be complete. Now, keeping in mind that the goal here is to prepare our dish within a total of 10 minutes, you could very easily cook this rice ahead of time, and it will give you plenty of time to do the rest of the ingredients that we're going to prepare today. Starting with dressing my marinade for my poke bowl. Garlic, ginger, sambal, and ponzu. This is our garlic. This is one of our primary seasoning components. And again, we're making 2 servings of this dish. That's going to be about 10 ounces total of prepared ahi. The fastest way I like to use garlic is to just use it against a grater like this. I could also use my ginger in the same way. 3 cloves of garlic for my 2 servings of this dish. To that, I'm going to add a bit of ginger. I'm going to add a little bit of toasted sesame oil, crushed chili flakes, fresh cracked pepper, some salt. Sriracha is a bit of a smoother blend here, so this is better for a marinade than maybe the sambal is going to be, and I'm going to use that as my additive at the end. And some people would use just soy sauce here. I really like ponzu, which is more of a combination of soy sauce and citrus, and that allows you to really cut down on the salt just a bit, add a little bit more nuanced flavor, and it's really going to give you a very, very, very tasty dish. Now, the only thing I'm going to do at this point is taste this for salt. That is delicious. So I'm going to set this to the side. The only thing I want to work on next is our avocado. I want to go along the base here and make sure that I'm cutting along the pod. I'm just going to rotate the avocado carefully, watching for my hand, and twist this off. And now I've got my 2 halves of my avocados. I'm going to score the inside of both. And this is a very sharp knife that I'm using. And cut a pattern here. And then also come back in on this side. Right about now our tea should be ready. I'm just going to do the same thing to the other side. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're only doing this so that it's easier to scoop out with your spoon. So since this has a bit of a deeper well, I'm going to use this for my breakfast application. I'm just going to create a little bit more space for my boiled egg. I'm going to salt this. I'm going to add a little pepper. If you're monitoring your salt and pepper, certainly you can adjust for your own taste. And I'm going to set this to the side for when my egg is ready. And how I want to treat this, I'm going to squeeze a little bit of citrus on this. If I have lemon, if I have lime, either will work fine. I'm going to put to this a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on this. just gonna squeeze this right into the bowl. Mix this up. Let that come together until it's ready for our bowl assembly. I am going to start preparing my ahi tuna. I'm gonna rinse this knife off. And then I'm gonna cut. I wanna dice this into larger cubes to begin with. I'm gonna turn this lengthwise. Do the same thing. Maybe I'm gonna take this in pieces so it doesn't fight against me a little bit so much. So I really want to get these nice, clean cuts on this fish. So I'm not going to add any lemon to our fish because I don't want it to cook. What this is going to do is going to marinate for a bit of time. So that's our timer going off. It's letting me know I've got about 4 more minutes to finish assembling this particular dish. So I'm going to take this and go ahead and let that begin to season within the marinade. This is something that takes about an hour in the refrigerator. If you're prepping this for your morning, you can easily put this in a smaller container, marinate it, and then once you're ready to enjoy it at lunchtime, if you've kept it in the refrigerator or near ice or on ice in a cooler, it will be perfectly ready for you to consume and enjoy with the rest of your bowl. The next thing I'm going to do is finish up on our breakfast. I've got my chilled egg here. And again, this is an egg that we cooked as our water for our rice was coming up to a boil. Rinse this off. That's boiled. I want to drop this right in the center. So that's one dish that's complete. Our tea is done steeping here. So that is also complete. And the last thing I want to do is season my rice. We do that with a couple of things. It's a little toasted sesame oil. Our rice seasoning, furikake, which is a bonito flakes and seaweed blend. It also has sesame seeds in there. So lots of good stuff in here. I'm gonna put out 1 serving of that on there. I want some black sesame seeds as well and a little bit of garlic flavor. So I'm actually gonna cheat and use some everything bagel seasoning. This stuff is much cheaper in your grocery store than black sesame seeds alone. And it also comes with many of the other traditional seasonings that you would find in a rice seasoning. To that I'm gonna add a little bit of smoked paprika. That's gonna give me the color I want in the seasoning of this rice. If I wanted to add a little bit of soy sauce here, I could, but there's plenty of soy sauce in my actual dish already. So now we've got our seasoned rice. Now it's time to begin assembling our actual dish. And I'm gonna start this particular dish. Many of you don't eat rice. Many of you don't have time to actually cook rice in the morning or keep prepared rice at your home. So this is a way to use half salad and half rice in this particular dish. I've got a spring mix here, just gonna add a lot of flavor, a lot of sustenance without adding a lot of calories to this particular dish, especially because we have our egg and our avocado in our breakfast, with just a little bit of a squeeze of lemon. And I'm gonna reserve this as well for my actual final plating. Now this rice is a little bit hot, and I don't want it so hot when it goes on to our actual dish. So you might wanna give this a little bit of time to cool, but I'm gonna go ahead and assemble this in our bowl. The next thing I'm gonna add is our wonderful avocado. To that, I'm gonna add our wonderful ahi tuna. And lastly, for a bit of color, I just want to add a little bit of a cucumber and tomato salad to this. Now, if you're running low on time, you don't necessarily have to do this step, but I like it to just add a bit of more crunch to our dish. So I'm going to chop these lengthwise like so. And we're using English cucumbers, so the skin on these is a little bit thinner. We won't have to actually peel these. Just gonna actually use that for garnish. Let's scoop this all in. And again, I'm gonna use half this tomato. Just gonna dice this, add it to our cucumber. Gonna use the same rice seasoning along with just a bit toasted sesame oil, a little bit of our paprika, spice it up with a little bit of sriracha, soy sauce to this component. I'm gonna stir this up. Traditionally, you can let this marinate for a bit. I'm gonna add this right to this side. There you have our fresh ahi poke bowl with a marinated avocado, as well as our cucumber and tomato salad. We're gonna place this right over here on our bowl. We've also added our fresh soft-boiled egg and avocado and our tea for the morning routine. So I thank you all for joining me today. I hope you continue to watch our series on saving $10 a day in 10 minutes every morning. And with that, I'd like to ask you to relax, relate, and resist. I hope you'll try this recipe at home and let me know how it worked out for you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I want you to retweet this and repeat this video. If you liked what you saw here, make sure to watch future and past episodes of The Counter at www.thecountertv.com. And if you really want to support, make sure to make a donation to the PayPal link. That is www.paypal.me/jkh2. I thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you next week. Wow. Egg-Vocado.